morning, everyone. Welcome to IGN. I'm Alana. I'm here with Steven and CJ, and we are going to be bringing you into the reveal event for Call of Duty Black Ops 4. We're very excited. It's going to be starting at 10 a.m., so in about 15 minutes from now, we'll have the official stream. But we wanted to talk about some speculation that we have going in here. First things first, there's rumblings that there's not going to be a single-player campaign. How do you guys feel about this one?
It's interesting. Well, I mean, that would be pretty much a first. They did this a little bit within the 360 era for Black Ops 3. They actually did not introduce a campaign for that. But for the first time, yeah, a new franchise like next-gen title is not getting in the Call of Duty series. It's interesting. I mean, I play a lot of multiplayer. What's your feeling? I mean, the Call of Duty campaigns are always good, but...
Well, I don't know the exact numbers, but I feel like a lot of people play Call of Duty for the multiplayer.
Right.
So I don't think people mind that there's no campaign.
I mean, I care, personally.
Okay.
Like, it feels like I'm getting half the experience, right? And I always play the campaigns before jumping into multiplayer. It's a good way, like, if you play a lot of games to refresh. So my thing is, if it's still $60, I feel a little bit weird about that absence.
Right.
But you're right. It's probably the majority of people weren't playing it. I'm sure that they have those stats, and they're like, well, it takes a long time to make a campaign. It requires a lot of effort, and they have to have a team working on that. So maybe they're like, is it worth the investment?
And I think, yeah, the longevity of them. You look at, Overwatch right now, and
$60 game.
Yeah, Fortnite and PUBG. All these games right now are focusing solely on a single play, a PvP experience, very, very dedicated, and those are the legs of the game. So it makes sense. I'm interested to see. Now, this is speculation. We don't know 100% for sure. Maybe it'll come down the road in DLC. But I don't know. So
we'll have to wait and see. But you're right. It's from a business perspective. I know Activision Blizzard focus on this a lot. Basically, the idea that people pay $60 for a game, but they aren't then continuing to spend that money. And it's easier to monetize a multiplayer system than it is a single-player campaign. Especially if it's single-player DLC, like I can see them doing that in the future. But I don't know, all speculation at this point. I'm very curious to see how people react to it if it's announced that they don't have a single-player.
Yeah, I mean, a part of me will miss it. I'm not going to say, like, I've played a lot of the campaigns as well, too. And, looking back, they've gone from, futuristic now. It's a little bit now, we hit World War II in a previous Call of Duty game. Yep. So, I wonder what this one is going to, it's going to be its main claim to fame moving
Personally,
forward.
I hope it's boots on the ground.
Do you? You didn't have enough boots on the ground here?
There's never any boots on the ground in any of these games.
We had to.
So the other exciting piece of speculation that everyone's talking about is, will it have a Battle Royale mode?
I don't know. I mean, this is, you've been playing a lot of Fortnite. I call Steven the Fortnite guy here in the office.
Yeah, well,
but
right now we're going through a Battle Royale trend. So I wouldn't be surprised if they leaned into that. There are rumblings that it might be an Overwatch mode, like people have certain roles.
Interesting.
So we're gonna find out soon, I hope. But I'm pretty excited.
Do you guys want that?
It's weird. Like for me, I've not really gotten into too many battle royales yet. I mean, I think as an arena shooter guy, I definitely don't want it to be in place of that. So it needs to be a supplementary thing. Like they need to still have the core things like team deathmatch, search and destroy, all those things. But yeah, I mean, I think it'd be interesting to see, AAA take on that genre. And if they potentially do something maybe innovative to change it up a little bit too.
Yeah, I'd love if there were two modes, an arena and a BR.
Yeah, it's interesting thinking about how many more games can exist in the Battle Royale space when you think about MOBAs. Like if the big ones are League and Dota. There are others that exist outside of that. Of course, we've got Smite, but like I think that it seems to be that you peak at a big two, and then if you want to add another one in there, they have to do something very, very different. So, I mean, it being Call of Duty could introduce people who haven't already played PUBG. It's harder for Fortnite because the game's free, so they're competing with something that's a free product. Would they release a standalone Battle Royale mode?
Yeah, and I think that is what everybody's looking forward to seeing. You have these two companies that are competing with each other right now, PUBG and Fortnite, and, discounted pricing. Like PUBG is what, $30?
I believe so, yeah.
And from a BR standpoint with Fortnite, it's been free. Obviously, I have children. You buy a lot of skins in that game, and it's not free. But will this be a $60 standard title going forward?
I can see it being $60. We're going to find out, and I'm pretty... I wouldn't...
We might not find that out
Actually,
today, though.
Yeah,
like they may not tell us the price.
No, they might not.
Hopefully, but
it'd be interesting, from a AAA
be
standpoint, what will they do and what will the pricing structure be?
Well, we'll almost definitely see Zombies. It's a Treyarch game. Is there anything that you guys want from Zombies this time around?
Well, they teased that image out a couple weeks ago.
So it is all but confirmed.
Yeah, there's a guy holding a mask over his face. It looks like he is a zombie. I believe it said mankind will be, or I forgot what the exact text was.
Oh, you want me to pull it up? I got it right here for you. Mankind's reckoning will be its salvation.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see that story, see if it's going to be super expansive. With zombies, I'd like to see a lot of replayability. So if they lean into that, I'd be a big fan.
Yeah, I mean, I never got too much into the zombie mode. Like I said, mostly played it for its standard PvP arena style shooter game. But it is cool. I mean, it's one of those things that Black Ops was known for. Zombie mode. So if they have some kind of different iteration to it this time around, yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't think people are getting bored of zombies yet either. Like, that's such an exciting thing every time that we find out there's a new one and what they're doing differently and the challenges. And they've only iterated on it and evolved smartly as the franchise has gone on. So I just want to see more of it. I want to know what I'm getting into. So one big change coming this time around is the release date. For the first time ever, we're releasing a little bit earlier in the year, or for the first time in recent memory at the very least. And the logic for that, it's October 12th. The logic behind that is that Call of Duty's trying to get out of the way of Red Dead Redemption, potentially.
Potentially.
Small little game.
Yeah, a little game.
I don't know if you guys have heard of Rockstar, but they're a pretty big deal. Yeah, so Red Dead's coming out October 26th. So usually COD is in November and earlier in the year. And I wonder if that there has to be a reason for that, is the thing.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's a combination of there's no campaign, so maybe they're just trying to get it out there a little bit sooner, like maybe development-wise, they're able to finish it and release it sooner. But yeah, so if you look at NDP numbers and you look at the top games of the year, Call of Duty's pretty much had 1 or 2 games in the best-selling games of the year every single year the last 10 years.
It's also almost every month. They're in the top 10.
Which is the only game that's ever dethroned them. It's been a Rockstar game, and it was Grand Theft Auto 5.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
So, obviously with Red Dead, the excitement for Red Dead is pretty intense. I would say that's probably one of the reasons. But it'll be interesting to see with those two. I mean, it's not too far, but 2 weeks is a fair amount of time still.
Yeah, it's enough time for people to buy it and get their teeth into the multiplayer or the campaign if there's a campaign.
Yeah.
So we're about 10 minutes away, just under 10 minutes away from the official stream, you guys. Currently talking about the change in release date this year. So I'm kind of wondering if they're releasing a multiplayer-only game early October, then maybe we get the single-player campaign in November, so it still feels like they're pacing out content surrounding Red Dead Redemption 2. But we have to remember, Red Dead is not GTA. Like, Grand Theft Auto is the kind of game that gets covered by all of the mainstream outlets for being controversial and parents freak out and everyone's on fire. But, like, I don't think Red Dead is that. It's a humble Western, so it's like, I don't know that it has that amount of punch, but it's definitely an interesting move for them to do that.
Well, it'd be interesting, too, with Red Dead as well. There's been maybe rumors of that having a BR. Like, the BR Battle Royale genre right now.
Everything has a BR.
Yeah, exactly. it's pretty hot, so.
I would actually love a Western.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody thinking about those kind of things. Like, now that's kind of the mode that you want to see some kind of AAA developer really lean into to see if there's any innovation there on that genre.
Oh, man, and maybe if it's a Call of Duty Battle Royale versus a Red Dead Redemption 2 Battle Royale?
Yeah.
I don't even know what to do.
No, exactly.
Yeah, like Alana said earlier, if you're going to make a Battle Royale, you got to come in fist swinging.
Yep.
You have to do something very different.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what they call it. Deadeye, the slowdown mode that they have in Red Dead is when you can like slow down and have duels. Like that would make it incredibly
interesting.
I don't know how that would work mechanically, but Call of Duty could maybe do it by integrating zombies in some way. That could be a way to make it really different.
Wouldn't
like
that be
add like a
something?
Daisy aspect in there maybe.
A little
like
PvP.
H1Z1.
And PvE in the mix there. That'd be all right.
That would be awesome, yeah.
Just sold you on that, all right?
Yeah.
That's my idea now.
But launch windows are pretty important. I mean, this is the thing.
They absolutely are.
Yeah, we've talked about like Titanfall. I think Titanfall's challenged with 2 when they released it. Yeah, it was sandwiched in between like Call of Duty and Battlefield. Yeah. 2 very big games.
This is a terrible idea for them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like Titanfall was a great IP. Like I love Titanfall 2's campaign, and its multiplayer is well done too. But that is one of those situations where they probably want to avoid that.
I mean, Bethesda's had really similar problems with Wolfenstein, with Dishonored 2, both releasing at the end of the year. It's like if you guys didn't do that, you'd do so much better because those games are incredible and people just don't see them depending on the launch window.
Yep.
But usually it's other people getting out of the way of Call of Duty.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, it's interesting to see.
What is our November going to look like this year?
I don't know.
Who knows?
It's going to be lots.
But back to Call of Duty's content. What else do you guys want to see? I feel like Nuketown is a given.
So that's the thing. I was just going to say, I want to see the next version of Nuketown. There's always been a different take on it. And do you remember the first time I was talking about this with Bobby and a couple of the people yesterday? Bobby's actually going to be down there checking out the event. But
another one of our Call of Duty enthusiasts.
That's right. Did you remember your first time playing Nuketown? What was that like jumping into that multiplayer map?
I don't remember my first time, but I do remember every time I play Nuketown, it's always chaotic. There's always spawn flipping. There's planes everywhere in the sky.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a good time.
Yeah. My first time, I remember, I think I mid-progress joined. and somebody was in the middle of a chopper gunner, and I had absolutely no idea what was going on.
That was probably me.
Oh, thanks. And then at the same time, I'm going, what's happening? There's raining terror from the sky. I can't shield myself. I'm spawning outside. And then you kind of start to figure it out and get good at the game, and you're like, you know what's awesome? When I do that to somebody else.
Yeah.
So
I think
then
that's what it is. Is when
yeah.
you're a beginner and you start in a map like this that feels close quarters, you're just like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But then once you learn, and I think getting or coming to terms with the verticality of Newtown is a really important thing that like I was just terrible at to begin with. It was just stay on the ground. You're like, no, that's a bad idea. Boots on the ground did not work.
No, not in that one. But fun map, and it's like it was cool to see them iterate, in the last few games. And it's, I would expect that at least probably this time it's going to have maybe a pass take again, or I don't know, right? Because they've done like a 2025 and then a different version for Black Ops 3. But yeah, hopefully it makes a return one more time for
I'm excited to see what they do with their loadout system.
Right.
Yeah, especially if they're going to go with the BR mode. Will there be loadouts, or you're going to find guns on the map? We'll see. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Well,
Hopefully.
I was speaking to a developer about this, and Battle Royale mode is supposed to be fairly easy to make because you don't have to make a lot of assets and you don't have to balance that much.
Yeah.
You just
Right.
sort of drop things where they are. So it's not. I'm sure every game is difficult to develop, but it's in terms of things with a large map, you just sort of chuck it in there. You're good to go.
Like
So
Fortnite first came out with the PvE mode, Save the World, and then they were just like, let's put them on a map and put 100 players on
just
it.
adapt to it. And I mean, we know how quickly Radical Heights got made in response to this. It was less than a year. So you can make it pretty quickly, but it does completely differ from the way Call of Duty is set up.
Yeah, thinking about the design of how many people and the AAA structure of the game, like these games are super polished, and Fortnite is actually a really polished game as well, especially it's still in early access. So that's the thing. I think could that engine support up to 100 players or something along those lines? I think that's what people are excited to see, right? I mean, that's a pretty big technological achievement if they're, maybe the maps are really big or.
It just made me feel nervous. It's just too much.
I know. It's like you imagine you're dropping in and there's going to be like a bunch of people there and you're like, and I don't know if,
It's also just Call of Duty so fast.
Well,
Like,
it's
die,
super frantic.
Yeah, I would say you die faster in Call of Duty than you generally do in Firefight in PUBG.
Yeah.
Like, I would think that you do. So that's like you just
Definitely,
get in a second.
It's the pacing that I think is going to be interesting because you expect, that frantic shooter style feel. And even if you look at the iterations of Black Ops over the years, they've introduced some of what was in Titanfall in the last one, Black Ops 3, there was wall running and all that stuff. Is that going to still be there? Will they take that out? And every game has had a little bit of a, fast-paced action to it, but I don't know, how will that work in a BR?
I can't
right?
imagine a Call of Duty that has a long time to kill.
No.
Yeah, it would not be Call of Duty anymore.
I kind of agree.
Yeah.
And that's another thing is if we have a Battle Royale mode and it's people who haven't played them before and are just used to Call of Duty, it's a really fast game. You respawn quickly. Like, everything is frantic, like you were saying. Are people going to be okay with waiting in lobbies once they die because they're number 100 and they're dead? Like, are they going to be okay with that? Like, I don't know how that audience is going to respond to having things a little bit slowed down by virtue of it being Battle
Instantaneous
Royale.
matchmaking.
And it can take a lot longer to find other players when you're in the Battle Royale mode.
Definitely.
So it is definitely different from them. But for series staples, what are you guys really wanting to see out of today? We're just a couple of minutes out now. Other than Nuketown.
Yeah.
Well, I'm always a big prestige guy, so I love grinding it out and then prestiging. So as long as they have that core fundamental foundation, I'm all for it.
Interesting. I'm trying to think of. There's so many games that I'm mixing together. There's Destiny. There's even the latest in World War II where they did a social space. I'm interested to see if they have that kind of interaction, like in the lobby in Fortnite when you're in the beginning. Like if they have some kind of social space involved in this version or not, and then how that will play. And if there is a battle royale, these are all things I'm super excited to see. Make Call of Duty take on if they go in that direction.
Is there anything they've had in previous games that you don't want to see return? I know it's a very, high caliber franchise at this point, but I thought I'd throw that one.
I mean, it's really weird when I look back at all the different things. I actually liked a lot of the implementation that Call of Duty added into. I mean, Black Ops specifically added into their franchise. Like they were the zombies people. They also added score streaks instead of kill streaks.
Yeah.
And pick 10. Like that was a great system in Black Ops 2 when they added that. So I mean, they've done a lot of really smart decisions over the years. I'm interested to see, what will they? Will they do the boots on the ground thing? Will they lean more into
How many times are we going to hear that?
I know, I'm only going to last time. But that's what I'm excited to see. What direction will they take? Will they lean more into just the standard, walking around, or will they lead more into futuristic side of things?
This might just be me, but I like when my guns don't look futuristic in Call of Duty.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I think I get that too.
Yeah.
I like chucking skins on things, but for the most part, you keep it clean
Yeah.
as well. So we're 10 seconds away right now, you guys, from the official Call of Duty Black Ops 4 stream. Hoping we see some gameplay. We'll find out about Battle Royale and then join us right after the stream is done. All right, they've got a countdown on screen right now. You guys excited?
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
4 seconds.
Stay tuned for the post-show afterwards.
Like the CIA says, you do not exist.
They'll always need men like us. Those who are willing to do. What others cannot.
We need to fight back.
Let's hunt.
Watch and learn, brothers.
To the community reveal of Call of Duty Black Ops 4. On behalf of Activision, Treyarch, and the entire Call of Duty Black Ops 4 team, it's great to be here with you. Thank you all so much for joining us. Listen, we want to start where it matters the most, with you, our players. Black Ops has been a nearly 10-year journey, and you have been there every step of the way with us. So I want to thank you all for your support and your trust throughout. Thank you. Now, that trust has allowed us to take a lot of risks over the years, and that support has allowed us to grow Black Ops in some new ways. Now, you've come with us on this crazy and insanely fun and sometimes mind-bending ride. From nurturing an off-brand Easter egg called zombies into a full-blown phenomena, to introducing you to twisted stories and unforgettable characters you played and that you played with, to bringing you new ways to play, compete, and watch multiplayer. Throughout this journey, Treyarch has never shied away from introducing something new or unexpected to Call of Duty and breaking with convention if we thought you would have fun with it. And that tradition continues yet again. Black Ops 4 is a living example of what we do best as a studio. We set the bar high, we challenge our assumptions, and we take nothing for granted. And we rethink everything about how we make games, which leads us to today. Black Ops 4 is a game that gives you more ways to have fun with your friends than anything that we have ever created. It's the deepest, most replayable game in our history. Now let's face it, that's saying something, because you guys have played the hell out of the Black Ops series. We're inspired by your passion for playing our games together, online, for months, even years. And today is where we begin to break it all down for you. This is a special day for us, and one we've looked forward to for a long time. And as you can imagine, we got a lot to share. So we're gonna show you more at this reveal than we ever have. This isn't business as usual, guys. This isn't business as usual. And that starts now with how we're approaching Black Ops 4 multiplayer universe. And who better to do that than Dan Bunting and Lord Vonderhaar.
I didn't think you'd say it. Oh, wait. Hey.
David, what are you doing?
I gotta update my Twitter name to Lord Vonderhaar.
All right.
And done.
We gotta do the show, man.
Oh, shit.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming today. We are here so excited to tell you, finally, about this game that the team at Treyarch has been working on for the past few years. And for those of you who have not been with us for one of our past multiplayer reveals, we are going deep today. Before we tell you all about Black Ops 4 multiplayer, which is set in a narrative world between Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, we're just gonna show it to you.
Can I take this line? Do you mind?
All right, knock yourself out.
All right. Here is the worldwide reveal trailer for Call of Duty Black Ops 4 multiplayer.
Black Ops, weapons free. Let's do it live.
Guess who's back? It ain't a fucking question. They know the name out in the presence of a living legend. What you heard is murder, you will need protection. So that's a blinded gun and see, so if you need it, you give direction. You are now not in the presence of nice guys.
Bravo secure. Pushing, on me.
You are now not in the presence of nice guys.
Every shot counts.
Enemy strike team deployed.
You lack compassion, you ain't rap, you just a whack distraction. I can't relax, cause I feel the magic smashing, Tony Braxton. Real sisters at the skinny crack.
Building barricade.
Had no hope, so I wrote this how I cope. I went home with no result, new approach, same truth. Just get ready, aim, shoot, then big bang. So they better bring troops because
gunship overhead, bringing down the hammer.
Copy that, 113.
shoot one shot if you ain't ready to die. Never get it up, I got shooters for hire. Cause you don't want it.
Marking targets.
Better back the back, I'm done, so I ain't trying.
Sensor going live.
I know you heard me. Feel like I'm going crazy. Just murder.
Heels coming.
Eat this.
You are now not in the presence of nice guys.
I lost count.
Feel that energy.
I lost count on how many times you killed me in that video.
So Black Ops 4 represents our most ambitious multiplayer to date. It delivers grounded combat, tight gunplay, an authentic military feel, and of course the fluid and responsive controls that you know and love, all wrapped in the most refined tactical team experience that we've ever delivered. It's a deeper and more rewarding experience that will be played for a long time to come.
All right,
Vonderhaar.
let's just get something out of the way. Are you guys ready? Can you thrust jump? Can you wall run? Can you confirm we are 100% boots on the ground? Okay. Wow. Look, as we know, you love the fluid feel of Black Ops 3 combat, so the question that we always start with is, how do you create a more grounded and tactical experience, but do it without slowing down the player? So that's pretty easy, right? We didn't stop believing in guns up. So in Black Ops 4, you still move and interact with the world in a really fast and fluid way. And you can still keep your gun up while doing many of the other things in the game, like throwing grenades and using equipment, activating score streaks, and mantling. And what's better than doing all of those things while still being able to fire your gun? And it's doing this while firing your gun. Ruin returns, and this time he brought his special issue equipment, the grapple gun, that only he can equip and create a class. So Ruin is a specialist with those unique ability to close the gaps and get to the enemy faster. And the combos that you can pull off when you grapple to grab slam have been making the highlight reel inside the studio. And we can't wait to see just what you do with this. So specialists are back, both new and some familiar, but totally reimagined. Because each specialist brings special issue equipment that delivers unique capabilities to your team to reinforce the tactical gameplay without slowing down the player. And you'll hear about many of them throughout the discussion. But you would be fooling yourself if you thought that they were the main characters of this show.
That's right, because Black Ops is and always has been first and foremost about weapons and the gameplay around them. It's no different with Black Ops 4. However, with Black Ops 4, we've made more improvements to gun systems than literally the entirety of Black Ops 1, 2, and 3 combined. This just shows how serious we are about weapon systems at Treyarch. We've designed each weapon as though it's a character in and of itself, which means that we pay attention to every single detail. Hot barrels are going to ooze smoke. Muzzle flashes are going to burst and light up the room. Bullet impacts are massive and they connect the player with the game world around them. And weapons for the first time have real 3D tracers, which both look and feel incredibly awesome, but they also serve a gameplay purpose because they let you know where the gunfire is coming from. And animations have been overhauled to make that feel that you know and love that much more responsive. Bullets will actually deplete as you expend the magazine, but that's just the start. This is a small example of the details that we pay attention to our weapons. On the design front, Black Ops 4 is going to break with tradition by giving each weapon its own set of attachments. Now in the past, attachment sets were shared across weapon classes. But this is important to us because unique attachments are all about making the gameplay of weapons and what makes each weapon stand out from each other. We're also bringing a new category of attachment this game. It's called operator mods. Operator mods are the ultimate expression of a gun's profile. It's going to expand its capabilities in ways that go beyond that core functionality. You're going to see here the Titan LMG laying down some heavy suppression fire. That suppressive effect is only capable through its operator mod. It's going to distort and disorient the enemy on the other side of it. Now I'm excited to say that weapons are further defined by another first in franchise history today. I'm here to tell you, Black Ops 4 will be the first game in our history to use a true predictive recoil pattern system. This allows you to constantly make micro adjustments while aiming and shooting. This means that the gameplay of each weapon is learnable. There's a path to mastery that is rewarding for new players and veterans alike. This is by far our biggest investment in the weapons platform and combat systems that we've made to give you the most rewarding and visceral experience by pushing the state of the art on weapons visuals, animations, and sound effects.
Weapons and health are two sides of the same coin, and you can't change one without affecting the other. And Black Ops 4 adds some tactical depth through a change in the healing mechanic. Healing is no longer automatic. Now players manually trigger their healing process with a dedicated button, and that becomes as central to your gameplay loop as reloading the weapon after a firefight. And we like this change because it creates a tactical decision point that simply didn't exist before. So you can disengage from combat and heal up, or you can rush an unsuspecting opponent who may be healing herself. And these changes create a more tactical pace to the game, where instead of simply losing to the person who shoots first, you can actually survive a gunfight with smart maneuvering. And this means you spend more time in the part of the game that's the most fun, which is the combat. So aggressive players still feel rewarded for being aggressive, and tactical players can actually choose when to disengage and look for a better opportunity to strike. Our journey into the health mechanics has evolved and doesn't end just here. Let me introduce you to Crash. And Crash is a medic. And this means when his ability is ready to use, he can actually restore and give bonus health to players for a limited time. And Crash is just more than a medic. He also distributes a salt pack which resupplies team, and no doubt the folks at home are already breaking down that MP trailer, and they've already figured out what this one's like. So we've taken a completely fresh look at the health mechanics of a Black Ops multiplayer game to insert tactical decisions and some much needed pacing into that gameplay loop.
So far we've talked about some really fundamental building blocks of what multiplayer and what makes it awesome. You got movement, weapons, health systems. We're going to take it up a level to situational awareness. Situational awareness covers the gamut of what you see and hear in the game, from the minimap to the sounds that your footsteps make on different surfaces. We've experimented with all sorts of modifiers that have impacted this over the years, but in Black Ops 4 we embrace situational awareness as a fundamental feature to the game. We're introducing a new system called the Fog of War. And only the parts around on the minimap, the Fog of War reveals a radius around the player and his or her teammates. As you'd expect, enemy players are going to reveal their positions when firing a weapon unless they're suppressed, and many of your favorite score streaks like UAVs and counter UAVs are still going to do what you expect them to do. But what the Fog of War does, it creates more opportunities for teammates to communicate and work together for the win. Now I'm going to introduce you to another new specialist. His name is RECON. RECON is an expert in situational awareness. His special issue equipment is called the sensor dart. When he shoots the sensor dart into the world, it clears a large radius around it that both he and his teammates can see, and it helps you to locate enemies. He also has Vision Pulse, which makes a return from Black Ops 3, but this time around it's a little bit different. The whole team gets the benefit of it. So with effective usage, these mechanics together can be a clutch way to snag victory from the jaws of defeat. Situational awareness is as important to the gameplay loop as weapons, health, and movement. And as with the other fundamentals, we're giving you, the players, access to these tools to control your own gameplay loop.
The flow of combat is how movement and weapons and health and situational awareness all come together in the head-to-head gameplay. Spawning, pathing, level design, all of these things impact that flow. You might remember Seraph. She has a TAC deploy, and this is a team-wide spawn beacon that allows Seraph to command offensive control over that flow of combat for a period of time. And this is Torque. Torque is the master of disrupting that flow because he can lay down razor wire and create deployable and improvised cover with his barricade. And one last one. Over the years, we've experimented with the idea of area denial in various ways. And in Black Ops 4, it's time to stop playing around. Firebreak makes his return and makes area denial a part of that gameplay loop. His special issue gear, the reactor core, allows him to do just that. And Firebreak can even trade his own health to extend the clock on that time. So we've combined the best designs in how level spawning and flow control work together to influence the gameplay loop, and then we place those tools not in our hands, but into the hands of you through the specialists.
And the story of Black Ops 4 is not one of a single game in development, but rather the combined journey of the entire last decade of Black Ops. And you, the community, have been with us every step of that way. Every game that we make is an opportunity for us to do better, to continue the dialogue that we have with you, and you know that we listen. You expect that commitment from us, and this is why we do what we do. So I think we've covered all the details. We've pretty much given away the secret recipe to our multiplayer experience.
Are you sure about that?
What did I miss?
Just one little thing. Just want to tease for our competitive community, and that is the return of League Play. League Play is a fan favorite, and we've combined the very best parts of it, and we're going to deliver it for all the players of Black Ops 4.
As Mark mentioned in his opening remarks, we're doing some things a little bit different than this year, including how we tell stories in each mode throughout the game. Now we're delivering more narrative and character depth in multiplayer than ever before. And we're also going to give new and returning players the ability to learn and master each of these specialists in solo missions. These missions feature a series of fun and fast-paced trials that give a hands-on introduction to the new and returning specialists while exploring the stories behind their identities and their backgrounds inside of a Black Ops narrative. Now with each game, the Black Ops players have spent more and more time in multiplayer, and it's important to us that we go bigger on that experience and expand the narrative universe around it. Here is just a glimpse into that universe.
Not bad.
Not bad yourself.
No one gives a fuck about you. You're a number. An asset. A pawn in someone else's game. They've been manipulating you. Watching you. Exploiting you. And when they get what they want, they'll leave you for dead. So here's the deal. Alone, you can put up a fight. But together, you can start a war.
I think it's time for us to talk about zombies. Good morning, everyone, especially all the zombies fans out there. We know who you are. Those of you who remember zombies as a bonus mode hidden in Call of Duty World at War have been with us from the beginning. You've watched as our undead have grown to become an essential part of the Black Ops experience. The story that we began a decade ago is as much a result of your work as it is ours. Zombies has always been about that shared journey, both for our characters and the tightly knit teams and friends who joyfully compete to be amongst the first to uncover the mode's latest and deepest secrets. Just as with the rest of Black Ops 4, we've gone back to the drawing board on zombies, rethinking how we can give you more ways to have fun with your friends than anything we've made before. The zombies community has always been our North Star, which is why we took everything that you've taught us and put it on the table for discussion about where to go to next. 10 years after it all began, we're about to begin a brand new chapter in the zombie story right here, together. And we couldn't be more thrilled to reveal the details with those of you here in attendance and the many fans tuning in worldwide. New chapter in the zombie story right here. Joining me to share more about this new adventure is Craig Houston, our lead writer.
Hello. So, over the years, one of the key aspects that has driven the zombie storyline and fan interest is mystery. A sense that you're entering an unknown world where anything can happen. And when we say anything, we mean anything. You know, stuff like giant robots, mythical staffs, interdimensional time travel, and wee monkeys that explode when you throw them. Remember your training monkey? You'll be fine. Basically all the things that you zombie fans consider normal. We've explored many different time periods and a variety of fractured universes. Now's the perfect time to start fresh and let the zombies community discover a whole new world together. Black Ops 4 marks the beginning of a brand new storyline, separate and distinct from the Ether story, a new world with new characters and new enemies. Drawing from history, both real and mythical. Black Ops 4 Zombies will introduce us to a new enemy, an ancient order, hell-bent on transforming the world to fulfill their nefarious agenda. Against them stand an eclectic group of all new player characters, unexpectedly thrust together by their shared experiences, with each one bringing their own colourful personality, skills, and unique perspective to the team. You know what? It's probably best if I just show you. This is 9.
You come seeking answers. Hear my voice. Heed my warning. The knowledge you seek was not intended for mortal man. Breathe deeply. The power of the vapors will transport you. Let yourself fall through the ages, through time and space itself, and pray for your safe return.
Diego, and Shaw, our new cast. We know them, and we can't wait for you to get to know them too. Okay, a mysterious new world, sinister villains and engaging heroes, and a riveting story of chaos all forms just one half of the equation. It's the what we'll play. Now, let's talk about the how we'll play the game. During the development of Black Ops 4, we routinely ask ourselves the question, how do our fans like to play? Well, after taking down literally thousands of zombies, it turns out that you have earned the right to make up your own rules and play the game the way you want to play it. So we're going to provide you with customizable tools and social systems to evolve zombies into an evergreen mode for daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly engagement. Zombies also now boasts custom mutations, over 100 different customizable options that will allow you to play the game your way, changing the fundamental rules and systems of the gameplay experience. Things like zombie speed, health, trainability, type, player damage, magic box functionality, and much, much more. And since the zombies community loves to compete with each other, we're also introducing the Black Ops Authenticity Stamp System. This will give players a shareable code stating exactly what was achieved and with what options. As I'm sure you can imagine, this will help third-party high score boards and other kind of custom competitions. No one likes cheats, especially me. On the subject of custom competitions, we're also introducing limited-time created challenges that we're naming Callings, which will regularly introduce new ways for you to play the game and set the stage for ongoing seasonal content and a few themed experience surprises as well along the way. And as we give our fans more power and ways to play, we're aware that zombies can sometimes be a little bit intimidating to new players, especially those who like to kick back on the couch and play solo. The good news is that Black Ops 4 Zombies will also include bot support, meaning you can enjoy the full narrative experience that comes with co-op. Not got a buddy to play with? Let our AI fight alongside you. Want to mix it up even more? We're introducing a new mode called Zombie Rush, a brand new mode simplifying the game experience to create a whole new tempo of gameplay, perfect for welcoming people into the Zombies universe, an enticing challenge for grizzled veterans alike. We're also reintroducing difficulty levels and an in-game tutorial to introduce players to the mode in a less stressful way. For those of you who also choose to have the path of most resistance, you can crank up that difficulty all the way up. Now, speaking of stress, we've already seen our 4 new heroes during an era of utter brutality, where no-holds-barred, winner-takes-all combat wasn't just the rule of law, but society's favorite form of entertainment. But zombie fans, wouldn't it be interesting to see them go somewhere nice, somewhere luxurious, somewhere they could have a good time? It is my pleasure to show you a glimpse of the second of our Day 1 zombie experiences. Welcome to Voyage of Despair.
Lady McKendrick may be of a higher class than you are used to mixing with, huh?
Ah, Bruno, my French friend. The lady will be so lost in my eyes and enthralled in my tales, she will not even notice when I make my move.
Timing, as always, is everything. While you and Lady McBlahblah head off to do whatever it is that you're going to do,
Shaw will collect the key,
allowing us access to the Millionaire Suite.
Well, we will deal with any unwanted guests.
When you say deal with, I have to ask, how?
I will launch, how you say, charm offensive.
Okay, I'm with you so far, but what did you call the pipe things you're looking for?
Pneumatic tubes, used for the conveyance of small packages throughout the vessel. They will carry our surprise down to the cargo room. It really should be quite exciting.
And after the detonation?
That's where I come in.
Given that the artifact will be securely locked within the safe, dare I ask how you plan to get through 2 inches of solid steel?
I've got just the thing. A mechanism of my own invention.
What does it do?
It opens things.
Now, obviously your father made some enemies during his travels.
That's a pretty big understatement.
If I may interject, I think you were about to ask if Miss Rhodes expected us to encounter any opposition.
It's possible. Likely, even.
What of the other valuables? Are we to secure them also?
Just the artifact. We're not thieves.
What are we then?
All that stands between humanity and the forces of evil.
What's happened. So that's what happens when you unleash the zombie horde somewhere nice. Okay, it was the Titanic, but it should have been nice. Trust me, that bloody great iceberg is the least of our characters' worries. There is so much more to talk about, and this really is just the beginning. We'll be revealing a lot more later this summer, where we shall share further details on other never-before-seen goodies on our road to release. Thank you. Friends, we're not done yet. You've seen a taster of 9 and Voyage of Despair, but that's not all the zombies news we have for you today. We've already said that Black Ops 4 is the deepest, most replayable game in our history. So it's my great pleasure to reveal that for the first time ever, we will launch with 3 fully fledged, fully loaded zombies experiences on day 1. We've seen a taste of what's ahead in our new story, but let's just take a trip back through the ether. One of our all-time fan-favorite maps told the story of 4 lost souls trapped in an eternal purgatory, desperate to break the cycle. Here's a small peek of Black Ops 4's 3rd Zombies map.
Nice. Not like I wasn't having enough nightmares just in my day-to-day. I have to work with those people. Listen, to make this put it really simply for you, This is a super serious year for us for Black Ops 4 on PC. And we're excited to share that we have a completely dedicated team with our friends over at Beanox, and they're making the most robust, most refined, most customizable PC shooter experience that we've created. And we're also excited to announce that Black Ops 4 will be the first Call of Duty title ever released on Blizzard Entertainment's Battle.net platform. Now, we're working very closely both with the dedicated PC team at Beanox as well as Blizzard to make sure that this is an absolutely great experience for our PC players. Let's take a closer look.
Black Ops 4 is really a celebration of our community, and something we've wanted to do for a really long time is focus on PC as its own unique platform and give PC gamers what they deserve.
This version of the game is custom built for the PC, and I think that's going to show through in every part of it.
We've developed a really strong partnership with Beanox, in addition to Blizzard, who have been tremendously helpful in bringing the game to the Battle.net platform, and that's a first for the franchise.
Those of us at Blizzard have been friends with Treyarch for many, many years. When it came to working on Overwatch, we consulted with Treyarch on a number of features.
It's the first first-person shooter Blizzard has ever made, so hearing their advice really helped us build out our game. And it's really exciting that we can welcome them onto the Battle.net platform, because Call of Duty is a cultural landmark.
With all the features of Battle.net, I think it's going to be pretty amazing what Black Ops 4 is going to have to offer.
Is going to be fully integrated with all these social features on Battle.net. You'll be able to add friends, talk with your friends, see them playing other games, party up, and interact with them in game.
We're going to be able to talk to players across Black Ops 4 into Overwatch, which should be pretty amazing. PC players expect a lot of options. They like to customize their gameplay experience exactly how they want it.
At Beanox, we have a long history of PC development. And so the PC community is always in the back of our minds. We're really talking about making sure that we've delivered on what they wanted.
For the Black Ops games, we've always had dedicated servers, and this game is no exception. They provide the performance and the security that our PC players need.
We are testing on the widest assortment of hardware possible to make sure the largest number of people can play and enjoy Black Ops 4.
We really wanted to tighten up the gunplay mechanics and make the movement system feel as smooth and as responsive as it possibly can.
There also has been a whole redesign of the UI flow, and we have made tweaks to how weapons react.
Things like recoil, weapon knockback, so that for a keyboard and mouse player, it's easy to get back on target. We will have uncapped frame rate. We're going to support 4K, HDR, ultra-wide monitors. It's going to have great scalability options, so everybody will be able to optimize for visual fidelity.
You've seen the team here get rejuvenated and excited by this idea of bringing the game to PC in a much bigger way than we've ever done before.
Recon requesting attack chopper pass. Strike team are cleared to deploy. Going off grid. Check fire. Check fire.
Kill all of them.
Black Ops 4 is the game that lets you play with your friends in more ways than ever before. And we all love Black Ops for that combat experience. But imagine if we take that experience you know and love and we spin it on its head. And we drop you into a large, massive world where you have to survive to be the last man standing. Let's just pause here for a minute. I don't have to describe to you how Battle Royale works. These games are no secret. We play them too. But for us to even consider this kind of experience, it had to be unique and done in a way only Black Ops could do. Now we are doing this, but we are doing it the Black Ops way. A survival game with the best, most refined mechanics in the world. Our signature controls and gameplay systems and the kind of fast-paced action that only Call of Duty can deliver, all in the biggest map that we've ever made, over 1,500 times bigger than Nuketown. And this is just the beginning. We're bringing to bear 10 years worth of Black Ops universe features. That's your favorite characters, your favorite weapons, and the most iconic parts of your favorite maps. And we're putting them all in one place, a crazy collision of fun, and then we're gonna let you navigate that world with land, sea, and air vehicles. This is something that you have not experienced before. Let's keep it rolling. Do you remember your CIA handler, Hudson? Or maybe you remember that very first, very sweet RCXD kill. The numbers, Mason, what do they mean? Or that time when you partnered up with Reznov for revenge. And which of these multiple endings did you experience with the Menendez? Or how about that one time when you worked with your friend Woods to take the Hind? Now, I should probably mention this one too. Your favorite Zombies cast, weapons, and gear too. This is something totally new. This is doing Battle Royale the Black Ops way. This is Blackout!
All right. There it is, the game that's been designed for you, the Black Ops community. It's the deepest, most replayable game we have ever made across the 3 pillars of Black Ops 4, multiplayer, zombies, and our new mode, Blackout. All right. Look, it's all about having fun with your friends, right? More fun than you've ever had before. Black Ops 4 doesn't have a traditional campaign. We're weaving narrative into each of the modes. And we've added unique ways to play solo in multiplayer and zombies, regardless of your skill level. So, if you're a veteran, we'll get ready to test your skills. And for those of you who just want to ramp up on your own, we got you covered too. This is a game for every kind of player. It's a game that's built to last for years to come. And we can't wait to play it with you. So thank you. Look, I want to give a shout out to our friends at PlayStation. Thank you guys so much for this incredible hardware setup that you guys are going to experience here today. And thank you, PlayStation, for your partnership with Call of Duty. We're excited for what's ahead of us. On behalf of everybody at Treyarch and all the developers, as well as Activision and our partners, a massive thank you. Thank you to everyone here. Thank you for coming from far away. It means a lot to us. And of course, to those of you watching from around the world, it's not going to be long. We'll be back, don't worry, before we're sharing more with this amazing community again. Now, let's check out that multiplayer trailer one more time before you're getting your hands on it with it next door. Let's take a look at Black Ops 4 multiplayer. Take care, everyone.
Black Ops, weapons free. Let's do it live.
Guess who's back? It ain't a fucking question. They know the name out in the presence of a living legend. What you heard is murder, you will need protection. So blinded couldn't see, so look the need to get direction. You are now not in the presence of nice guys.
Bravo secure. Push it, on me.
Every shot counts.
Enemy strike team deployed. Building barricade.
So I wrote this how I cope. I went home with no result, new approach. Same truth, just get ready and shoot. That big bang, so they better bring troops because
Gunship overhead. Bring it down the head. Copy that. 113.
shoot one shot if you ain't ready to die. Never get it up. I got shooters for hire. Cause you don't want it.
Marking targets.
Better back the back. Done, so I ain't trying.
Sensor going live.
I know you heard me. Feel like I'm going crazy. Murder.
Heels coming.
Eat this.
Pre-order now and get access to the private beta.
Welcome back, everyone. We now have Miranda joining us on the panel after
Welcome.
that crazy stream. Miranda actually had been briefed on that beforehand.
Yes, I couldn't be on before because
It would be
too much.
lying.
It'd be weird. Yeah.
So I wanted to start, let's straight away jump into Battle Royale. It is confirmed, and they did do the thing that I was really concerned about. They have to sell it to us differently, right?
Yeah.
So we've got air vehicles and sea vehicles. I'm pretty stoked about that. How you guys feel about this?
I'm very curious to see how they're going to integrate pretty much all of the Black Ops universe into one big map. I think the thing that's most exciting for me is that they're trying to take like key points from maps that are like really loved and integrate them into that map. But it's supposed to be 1,500 times the size of a regular Call of Duty map. Which
Of Nuketown, he said, it's crazy.
Yeah, so it's just like, well, that's big. I mean, as it should be, right, for Battle Royale. I am concerned a little bit about balance because they are pulling so many different things from their entirety of all of Black Ops, right? Like they said they're going to pull in zombies characters and zombies weapons and, you know, like air and land and sea and just kind
Do you know if they have classes, Miranda?
So what I heard is that they have characters.
Okay.
So you will be playing as characters. And they didn't say skins, they didn't say really too much details as far as how complex those are, whether they give you like different features or anything, or if it's just a loadout. But that's
So that's what I was wondering. Like the multiplayer side of thing, they went in pretty in-depth detail about the differences with each class, as well as some health regenning and stuff like that. But they were a little bit vague on the Battle Royale blackout details. Do you know those details?
Right, they're also a little vague on it. They're just like, well, it plays like a Call of Duty game, but it's going to be a last man standing sort of deal.
Yeah.
I think they're
Did
still.
they say how many characters we've got?
No.
Sorry, how many players?
No, so they also said that they did not want to talk about how many players will be on the map yet.
Gotcha.
So I could see them still trying to fine tune that and finding that balance, because I think the balance on this is going to be so important, right? Because you can probably do like really crazy things on this potentially with all the characters they want to pull in.
Yeah.
They
But-
made it seem like it was a group battle royale. Is that accurate, or is it a solo mode?
They did not specify.
Okay.
They just said survival.
Yeah, taking out a bunch of
Last
people.
one standing kind of thing. So
yeah, the aerial vehicles and water and sea, like those things, like that is very unique. There's nothing like that really that's been done. I mean, obviously vehicles are a lot in PUBG. Fortnite, people are making vehicles of rockets and things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited
My
to see
first
what they're
ever
going to
chicken
do.
dinner in PUBG, I accidentally ran over someone. I didn't
Well,
see
there
them.
you go.
It was a complete accident.
Nicely
It
done,
was
nicely
really
done.
terrible. But I do think that having sea vehicles specifically, people have a way to isolate themselves really easily. So we'll have to see how the map gets smaller, because I try to play Battle Royale games by avoiding everyone as much as possible until I have to.
Right.
So in theory, you could just hide out on a ship.
yeah, so that's what I'm wondering too. Is like, could I just get in a plane, just fly around forever? Like, I'm sure someone could eventually find like a rocket launcher or somehow shoot me out of the sky with an RPG. But at the same time, like, what is the balance to that, right? Because like, if I just like beeline to a vehicle, and I can just be omnipotent.
Yeah,
and
100%.
kill everyone
If
down.
it's not balanced, it'll get tired
Yeah,
fast.
and I feel like because this is like such a big pillar for them, because they are obviously, and we'll talk about later, is not having a traditional campaign, they will probably be investing a lot of time and resources into figuring out how to make this balance. And I assume like they'll have probably like the standard groups and solo play.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just obviously assuming that this is going to happen, but just because that is kind of standard feature across all battle royales right now.
Yeah. So the one thing they did say is it had to be unique and done in a way that only Black Ops could do, which I do think it looks like it is unique, and that's a really important thing. Obviously, PUBG and Fortnite look dramatically different to each other, but this does look like Black Ops Battle Royale. It doesn't look like it's just a carbon copy of what everyone else is doing, but obviously we need to find out a lot more information about that one. So moving into zombies. This looks legit. How do you guys feel about it?
So for the first time, they're launching with 3 maps, and it feels like they are replacing the campaign with the zombies.
Kind of. So what they explained to us is like, so hey, there's no traditional solo campaign, right? And they're like, yes. So in place of that is kind of the solo experiences you can have with the zombies that kind of has a narrative through line that you have to discover yourself, we're told, because there's a big mystery around it. And also the solo missions in multiplayer, which are technically standalone narrative experiences for each character. The length of those are probably not super long, but I'd imagine. But yes, this one definitely has more of a narrative drive to it. But if you look at the most recent zombies, they all kind of have that too,
yeah,
right?
They all
there's
have Easter eggs and stuff.
Yeah, like there's an Easter egg through line, and I assume that this is going to be kind of the same thing.
Okay.
What I noticed is they made a lot of mention about returning daily activities and rewards and all that other stuff. Now, that sounded like it was mostly within the context of the zombies mode. Did they dive deep into that at all, or no?
They mentioned like that punch card system of just kind of like showing off like what things you've accomplished. I know there are challenges that will be as a part of zombies somehow, so I think they're going to try to integrate it in some way, but they didn't go in too deep into detail.
Okay. I mean, I think that's cool. I think a lot of what Fortnite is providing right now is that's the replay incentive for people to get these challenges, play with their friends, and then potentially unlock a bunch of things. So if that's in the zombies mode, I think that's actually a really cool addition.
I'm also really excited to hear that they're having like a training mode for new players to try it out, and there's different difficulty
levels.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
Weird and cool because I know like it can be kind of intimidating to play by yourself. I know jumping into zombies with people that I don't know, it's like such a gamble. And having bots as an option too is really neat because like sometimes I just don't want to play with other people, but I just want to just mow down some zombies. And having the bots there to at least assist me a little bit would be really nice.
And that mode was called, I think, Zombie Rush?
I believe so.
Yeah, so that, I mean, that sounds really cool. We've also, like, they spoke a little bit about, we had an audio issue, so couldn't fully track it, but custom competitions?
So you can make custom games.
Right.
So they have for sure like 100 different options. I don't know if it's like specifically for competitions, but I know that you can create challenges for other people.
I think that's really cool.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
and so like just having like this a lot more flexibility within zombies I think is exciting because obviously they want to build out all these 3 major points without a campaign.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I'm super excited.
I don't care as much about the lack of a single-player campaign as I thought that I would, and I think that that's because the art style was really interesting, the characters had really solid voice acting, they all seemed really distinct, and the environments were so different. That Voyage of Despair area looked like a luxury hotel, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Titanic.
Oh, it is?
If you didn't catch at the end, yeah. But they're on the Titanic, and so just like, yeah, them trying to survive the zombie horde in this place. And I think that's going to be interesting to see them bounce around, like this team of 4, bounce around between different times and see how that changes combat. Obviously, we saw with the Colosseum, they all just have melee weapons.
Yeah.
It's like just some swords. It's like,
that was really interesting.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious, like, if that is more of like an arena type settings, because
that's
obviously
what I was wondering.
The zombies are contained, and so maybe that's like their more core wave-based thing.
Yeah, like a horde mode sort of thing.
Yeah,
it
and
did
then
look like
the other
that.
ones are a little bit more survival, Easter eggy or something.
Did they talk about how many people would be able to play? Obviously, in these ones, you're showing 4. I'm assuming it's probably 4. But yeah, this looks super cool. That's, from looking at it, this to me, I felt like there's a very cartoon art style. We were talking about, that's one of the things that's a little bit difficult in these kind of series when you have these realistic looking figures, is that you don't maybe relate to a certain character as much. I don't know if you feel that or not.
So this style is obviously very different from like what we had with World War II, which is hyper realistic. Like sometimes in the campaign specifically, there'd be cutscenes with the character in the rain, and they look like a real person. Whereas this, you're not gonna make that mistake, right?
Yeah.
And I think I appreciate that about it, that each game has like a very set identity. And like they're like, hey, we're doing these things the Black Ops way, and they very much are. It's just a little bit more zany and obviously cartoony and fun.
It does kind of seem like 3 games in one, but the one thing that I kept coming back to, especially with zombies, is that it feels very hero shooter inspired. Feels like they had some Overwatch inspiration, even TF2 inspiration. Like they've really made these characters and built them up in a way that they look distinct. And I'm sure there are different skins you'll be able to get for all of them, and that's a good way for them to monetize both of those modes. But I really like it. I think that it feels like it has a lot of personality in that, so I'm pretty impressed. So next up, let's talk about the pretty dramatic changes to multiplayer. Things are changing.
Yeah.
The health bar, that's new. And the ability to heal yourself has changed pretty dramatically. It's not automated anymore. You have to press a dedicated button to be able to heal yourself, and it seems like every character can heal themselves.
So everyone can heal themselves, but if you take damage, you stop healing.
Interesting.
So for sure. So it's like something you initiate. So they were kind of positioning this as a tactical thing. The big focus on all these changes was adding more tactics, or the option to have those tactics to change the flow of the game. And so they were giving the examples like you could like maybe feign like you're gonna go like heal while the other person also is trying to go heal, and then just run in, charge them, and kill them while they're trying to heal.
Okay.
It does take your gun away for you for a second, because obviously you see them pull out like the syringe and then pull out their arm.
So gun still up applies to almost everything except for healing.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seemed like.
Okay.
But that's a pretty substantial difference in multiplayer. Like they did that for World War II, where you had to, regen your health by talking to somebody and getting a health pack. But in a multiplayer, for the campaign, but in a multiplayer setting,
it's always been
it's just the same go hide for someone.
Yeah, exactly. So that's actually, I mean, it's one of those changes that is minor, but I think could have a massive effect on how multiplayer is
I agree. I think it adds another element to gameplay, and like Miranda was saying, you can actually see the health now from the health bar.
Yes.
So a lower health player could pretend like he's healing and use that as a defensive move.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be awesome.
I think the health bar in multiplayer games, for the most part, is really good. I like the visual identity you have of knowing how much information is coming back to you. Like, oh, he has this much health. It relieves the frustration, I think, overall.
Right. So I'm a tad worried about the time to kill for this, because when I think of Call of Duty, I think very fast time to kill. It's just like I'm running through dropping people, but then I'm also dropping and getting right back into it. Even though I'm a tad worried because that will potentially slow things down, or it could, the gameplay clips that they showed us kind of indicate that that's not changing a whole lot.
Right.
So I'm not too worried. It's just more of like skeptical to see how this will go. And I think people who obviously learn how to better regenerate their health are going to have an advantage over people who don't.
For sure.
We can also see there's a number on screen for the amount of damage that you're dealing to other players. But interestingly, the screen doesn't look cluttered at all. Like there's a lot of there's more information than we generally get from a Call of Duty game, but everything still looks really clean. The UI looks really clean. So I was pretty impressed with that. Another thing they confirmed is no wall running.
Yep, no wall running, no thruster packs, so you're not going to be jumping all crazy.
But we do still have the grapple gun.
Yes.
Which I think just looks so cool this time. Like it just like I'm very impressed with the graphics. Like this is very realistic looking, but it also you're doing crazy stuff. You're doing stuff that isn't realistic, but they still make that look really seamless in the world.
Yeah.
So I'm very impressed with that. You've also got specials are back, and we have new specialists as well. One of those is RECON, which you guys seem pretty excited about when we were watching the stream.
Yeah, that's cool. I was wondering if they actually dove any more into the score streak system, or if it's going to be kill streaks.
No, so it is definitely score streaks, like pick 10, that kind of thing is back, or create a class. They're going back into that for sure.
Gotcha.
What else? They said like score streaks work the same as far as like Fog of War goes, because I think that's maybe what you guys were thinking about as far as with RECON. I was just like, wow, we're Dota now. But no, that's fine. So I was like, that's an interesting aspect of the game, and I appreciate that they're still keeping a lot of familiar things with that, because they're like, well, if an enemy fires, you're still going to see them on your mini map. Like things are going to work as expected. It's just another tactical thing for you to rely on your team, and I'm also a little worried about that, because it kind of goes back to the Call of Duty quick time to kill, just jumping in, playing solo. Like this is the one game where I feel like I can just go in, one-man army, and then not really worry much about my team.
Yeah, that's definitely a potential issue. It looks like they're adapting Overwatch and Rainbow Six Siege, kind of. Like there was that one class where you can heal your other teammates, right?
Yes, Crash, I believe, was the specialist.
Yeah, and then there was that one guy who like did an AoE. Do you guys see that? A
that
fire.
Was Firebreaker, I believe.
Yeah, so
Firebreak.
It's going to be really interesting to see how it's different.
Each specialist is more attuned to changing the flow of each game,
right?
And I think that'll be. Yeah, definitely interesting to see who really wants to play a healer in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like there was one person clapping, I was just like, oh. I like playing the healer sometimes, but not Call of Duty. So I mean, I'm sure there will be those people that gravitate toward it, and the teams that probably have that healer who's responsible for keeping up for that will definitely have an advantage. It's just who wants to make that sacrifice and not have like a cool other ability.
So they also said each weapon has its own attachments, and the gameplay of each weapon is learnable. And they spoke about it being, I mean, there was tons of PR speak in this conference. There was so much like, the biggest ever. We're like, yeah, come on, we say that every time. But they said the biggest investment in the weapons platform they've ever made. So how are you guys feeling about the changes to that?
Predictive recoil patterns.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
real good.
I know. Yeah, saw that, the bullet pattern on the wall.
Yeah.
That was neat.
Sounds great. Like, I'm super excited to get each gun and put time into each gun because it seems like they have their own attachments. So that's a cool thing.
Yes.
Yeah, it said each weapon does have its own attachments, and the one that I liked the most was, I think they call it a suppression mod, where you would fire bullets from around a corner and they would sort of disorientate the person you were shooting at, so they wouldn't know where you were shooting from.
So those are called the operator mods.
Yes.
And yeah, each gun has its own special one. That was for the Titan LMG, so that whenever you're just firing, you'll disorient your opponent.
I like that a lot.
Black Ops was always really notorious for like not only customization of different attachments, but even the visual look of your gun. I noticed there's a couple clips in there, so it'd be interesting to see what they do there as well
and
too.
this might add another element to the gameplay. You might know instantly what kind of gun that person's using and stuff like that.
Yeah, visually.
They spoke about like trying to make sure that the guns were a lot more, I want to say dynamic, like that you should be able to do that. They should have their own language and that you should learn them really well.
They kept saying that each weapon is like a character.
They
wanted to build it out as like a unique individual because like they're so defined, and like we'll see how that actually plays out, right?
Yeah.
But
all that PR speak. But it sounds cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Is there anything from this segment particularly that you guys are really, really excited about?
That Battle Royale mode looks awesome. So they didn't really talk about pricing, but it seems like there's enough content to justify a full $60 retail price.
Did they say that Battle Royale was day one?
Yes.
They did.
I
This
don't
is a
know
lot.
if they said it in the stream, but it is for sure day one.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, so thinking from that standpoint, we were talking a little bit about the fact that a traditional campaign is now removed from that, package offering. What was your take on that? Did you ask them any questions about their decision?
So we didn't actually get to do a lot of questions. There's questions today, so they're going to have those interviews, and I've sent some questions over to Ryan and the team that are doing those interviews. But I'm curious to see how in-depth those solo missions are, because that's kind of what they're focusing on. It's like, hey, we're trying to expand our multiplayer universe. Like, that is the big focus. We want to give these characters some, like, definition, and it's also an opportunity to learn these specialists and their abilities and, like, how they can be practically applied. So, like, maybe practice with them if you don't know them very well.
Yeah.
And it's not clear if each specialist will have their own mission, but there will be at least several of those.
Cool.
And I don't know, like for myself, I more so gravitate toward the multiplayer than the campaign anyway for Call of Duty when that comes to it.
Yeah.
And granted, there are definitely standout Call of Duty campaigns, and I think people really do like them. And I know there's probably
The
a lot of
original
people
Modern
who are,
Warfare.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's like plenty of people who are really disappointed that there's not a standard campaign experience. But I'm really interested to see how this plays out and like what, or how meaty those solo missions are. Like,
But it does seem like there's more content from the start. If we have Battle Royale and we have the 3 zombies maps, there is a lot more on launch than normal. So I'm wondering what kind of DLC they're going to have later down the line. How are they going to add content? Is it going to be more zombies content? Is it a different Battle Royale map?
Maps.
I was going to say they could do multiple BR maps. They could do, PvP
because
maps.
Usually they have a new zombie map every DLC, but since they're just launching with 3, it would be pretty ambitious if there's more zombies.
I can see them doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe they could. Or I'm hoping that we'll get more Battle Royale maps.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that most of the popular Battle Royale games right now don't have a lot of map variety. So it's like that's the thing that, with the Activision Blizzard budget, they could do that. They can make really, really cool, crazy maps with that. And I'm just so excited to see that one in action. So before we wrap up the show, the last thing I really wanted to talk about was Battle.net, getting dedicated servers.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I'm pumped.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I'm pumped.
The Battle.net infrastructure for a lot of games is just really robust. And for that reason alone, like a friends list and, the integration of that now in it is really, really good.
Yeah, it seemed like in the reveal they were really focusing on PC players and stuff like that. And as a PC player, I'm super excited to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely tell they're trying to like push that, like, hey guys, we really are focusing on the PC version. Like they're saying that they kind of custom built it for PC because obviously you can't just, as we've seen with past Call of Duty games, you can't just translate it over one-to-one.
Yeah.
So hopefully this will end up being a better experience for PC players.
As we see with a lot of ports, honestly.
Honestly, that's
happens a lot.
I want that monitor setup they had.
the wide triple resolution.
Can we get that, Jeff Kaplan?
Exactly.
Can we have one of those?
Deliver one for us.
So it's launching on PC October 12th as well, which is all really exciting. And I feel like that's most of the major beats we have covered now. So I just wanted to ask, like, closing comments. I know you're most excited about Battle Royale, but how about the two of you? What are you most excited about after seeing this reveal?
I'm interested to see how people play the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like whether people actually make use of the tactics that they're trying to push. So like a lot of it was, we want to the players to have control of the pacing. Like if it's like an area denial or setting up barricades that are custom, like how much will people actually make use of the specialists and their abilities? So I think that's what I'm most curious about.
Yeah.
From the community at least.
Funnily enough, we've got a lot of people on the IGN.com chat asking, is there a Switch version?
Oh. They didn't say anything about Switch.
I'd be very surprised. I can't see that happening. It'd be cool, but yeah, I mean, there were rumors, so people were talking about it, but I don't know. I don't know about that.
Well, Call of Duty back in the day was one of those few franchises that actually did port their games over to Wii and stuff, and they had
It wasn't quite a
versions.
port, though. It was a different game.
Yeah, it
and
was.
I can't imagine.
They were special.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see that probably in the future, but yeah, for me, I will say, the multiplayer side of it, just the arena shooter. I'm excited for Battle Royale as well, but yes, I've always kind of had my same college group of friends. We connect every time there's a Call of Duty release, at least for the first few months, and get into it. So I'm interested to see if the gameplay, still feels the same. Time to kill, I think, is a big concern, but I think they might have tweaked it with enough different cool new things that it will play out really good. So
yeah. So how did you guys feel about the piece as a whole? How are we feeling?
I mean, from a package standpoint, that's the thing. To me, it was like, what were they supplementing in lieu of not having the campaign mode? Yeah. And I think the BR being incorporated in that, and they did not, have a price release in that yet. But if that is essentially what's taking place of the campaign, we were talking about all these things, before you came around about, PUBG and Fortnite and all these other games. The replayability is in the BR mode. It's in the multiplayer, the longevity. So this is a good thing, I think.
I mean, if you just look at what Treyarch's doing now, like they're still supporting Black Ops 3. Like, just a few months ago, they released a pre-new map and like new features. So it's just interesting to see how much they were also pushing, like, hey, we're going to support this for a very long time.
Yeah.
And so I think with that Battle Royale mode, like, it could be really interesting to see how much that changes over the course of a few years.
Yeah. I asked because we've got a poll on IGN that is, what did you think of the Black Ops 4 reveal? And it says, didn't like it, is currently at 47%. So they weren't huge fans.
I will say this, like, it's initially funny, the pre-hype to the actual event, I thought was, it was a little verbatim. I don't know how to say, like, the verbiage. There's a lot of, like, trending kind of, hey, you ready for this?
Yeah, it's just like,
I wrote down some of the stuff that they said, but I was just like, oh.
There's going to be a beta, and I think that'll be a really good testing ground to see like how we actually feel about this. Like whenever it comes to like most reveal events, unless it's like a super narrative-driven thing, I'm just more like, well, I would just like to play it before I have any.
It seems like the cool thing is to always bash on CODs, but it's always
the
top-selling game.
Top-selling game
so
every year, the last 10 years. And so, did you ask them a little bit about the launch window? Now it's not November; it's in October.
October 12th.
October 12th. But now, typically, they've launched in November every year. Was there any kind of reasoning besides Red Dead that we are speculating?
They didn't say anything in particular.
Okay.
So.
Cool. Yeah, it's interesting to see that there's a BR game and all the stuff is going to be in day one and then a month earlier. So I think that's actually pretty
I'm also
crazy.
curious to see if they're going to do split screen and local co-op.
That would be awesome.
Because that's been like a thing that's been through all of the Call of Duties,
Could you
as far as I
imagine if there
know.
was crossplay?
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing too.
Yeah.
Well, won't be with PS4, but maybe with the others. All right, we've got that poll. It's now at 50% didn't like it. So things are really getting ugly over here. No, I did actually write down one of the quotes that I wanted to talk about. They said, we took a lot of risks over the years. I'm like, did you?
Yeah.
Did you really?
They've iterated.
I think Black Ops series kind of stands out from the other Call of Duties.
I agree.
So.
Yeah. I mean, they've been my favorite overall. I think that, especially when you think of Treyarch as a company, like Infinity Ward was the main company, and then between Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, there was a little switch there. And so now, I mean, I'm excited. These are all things, like I think if that press conference had ended and there not have been a blackout Battle Royale mode, everybody would have been like, nope.
Yeah, it would have been kind of the same.
Yeah, it would have. Yeah, I think it would have been a letdown. So from that standpoint, like I'm not let down. I'm actually really interested to see what this Battle Royale mode ends up being.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like I'm super excited or anything, but I'm definitely interested. Like I'm intrigued to see how this all plays out, and I want to see more of the Battle Royale mode, more of zombies. Like what does that actually look like?
And for anyone curious, we have some articles up that I think you wrote, Miranda?
I wrote 5.
5 whole articles up on IGN.
Busy.
Yeah, there's a lot of news. So if you guys want a little bit more details, some of them aren't super in-depth because there's just not a lot of information out there.
Yeah.
But there is a gameplay reveal event going on there right now. I think we have Babia. He's down there and a couple others
Ryan,
capturing.
I think, as well.
Yeah,
Ryan and we'll get some more info for you guys. Any closing comments before we wrap up the show?
I think we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. Good stuff.
There it is.
All right, thank you guys so much for joining us on the stream today. For more on Call of Duty, of course, stay right here on IGN.